morning, good afternoon, or good night, my fellow Chibits. Today, I'm here to bring all of you a weekly manga chapter review of Taizai. Maybe I should just say 2 chapters, because this week we get a double chapter. Yeah, we get 2 chapters this week, and we all know Nakaba-sensei, he does this every so often when he wants to progress the story at a certain pace, and we got 2 chapters this week, and I have to say the content in the chapters reminds me a lot of how the 7 Deadly Sins actually began, which I want to get into that. So, the first chapter is kind of focused on King Arthur and how his next step to being like kind of the main character for now, and then the second chapter focuses on Elizabeth and how it's kind of like a similar situation to how the first chapter was of Taizai. It's very, very similar to the first chapter of Taizai. Like, if you go back to the first chapter of Taizai, read it, and then look at the last chapter, chapter 180, if I'm correct, you will see how similar these chapters are. It's crazy. It really is. It's not exactly, but it's very similar. Now, one thing, though, is that the first chapter focuses on King Arthur. And as we all know, King Arthur has been built up for a while now, and anyone with the name King Arthur, you know, is going to be pretty damn powerful in the series. It's common sense. But King Arthur has this potential. We know he's very strong. It's just like he's a baby. He's still trying to get stronger. And since Meliodas and majority of the 7 Deadly Sins are kind of just shoved out of the story for now, until probably they get power up stronger, whatever, and Meliodas finally comes back, for now it is King Arthur's story. It's his time to shine and actually get shit done. And I'm really excited for that. It's a really nice change of pace to the series, and it really allows these other characters, these other side characters, to get development besides just our main cast, which I really appreciate when a writer decides to do that. So talking about King Arthur, though, we know that he has potential, a lot of potential to be very powerful. It was said before when he fought Hendrickson. Hendrickson mentioned it. Now, King Arthur, at this time, it seems like he has gotten a lot stronger than how he was in the past, but he still needs a lot more room for improvement, because, I mean, he did take down some gray demons, which, that's impressive, that's a very strong feat, but we also have to, you know, factor in that there's no way he could fight a 10 Commandment at this time, and I really love the atmosphere that this arc is starting to give off, because it shows you how humanity really is in desperate times now. The entire world, or Britannia, is in dark times. They can't really afford to make any mistakes. The outdoor heroes are pretty much in hiding now. The villains have taken over. They have won. I really love what is at stake in this arc, because, I mean, look, Meliodas is not there. The strongest fighter besides Escanor is not there. And Escanor, we don't even know where he's at. We don't know where any of the other sins are at. Most likely they're trying to devise plans of how to fight the 10 Commandments. But for now, though, I'm gonna enjoy getting to see, you know, these other characters getting development. You know, Elizabeth, and getting to see, you know, I guess, King Arthur get development. I'm looking forward to that. Now, King Arthur, though, he has this cat on his shoulder, and this cat is very weird. It can talk and all that. I'm very curious exactly what type of point this cat's going to have to the plot. I mean, we know, in a way, if you look at it, it's very similar to Hawk, because, I mean, look, it talks and all that, and it might be something similar to that. Maybe, you know, it might have a plot point later on in the future to where it might help out King Arthur unlock his power. Maybe it might help something out to do with the 10 Commandments. I have no idea, but the cat reminds me a lot of Hawk. Hopefully I'm not the only one to feel like that. Like, it really does remind me a lot of Hawk, because, you know, like, Hawk is the mascot, he's with, you know, Meliodas' group, and now you have this cat that's with, you know, King Arthur's group. So, speaking of that, though, let's talk about the Elizabeth scene. So, Elizabeth, she is now manning the boar's hat. She's going around, tending to the bar, selling food and stuff, alcohol, beer, carrying on the legacy that Meliodas wanted to do. That's pretty much what Elizabeth is doing, and it's really respectable. But one of the creepiest things about this is that Meliodas' body is like Sleeping Beauty at this moment, but he is still dead, because I feel like many might misinterpret that and believe that Meliodas is just unconscious, but he's really not. Like, there's examples of how that is really a dead Meliodas. For one, we know Elizabeth, she can heal things. She can heal probably bodies, even if they're after death. She could probably heal some bodies. The next thing is we do know that, like, creatures like the fairies, we saw Elaine's body, it never decayed, it never aged. It could live on for long periods of time without decaying, and we saw that. Baum was keeping Elaine's body safe, even though she was already long dead. We know she was dead. So, that's probably what's going on with Meliodas. Most likely, his body won't decay, it won't disappear, and probably, you know, I guess Elizabeth is taking care of the body, for if there's ever a way to probably bring him back, the body will be in good condition. That's probably what's going on here. Now, one thing, though, is if that is what's going on, most likely I can kind of guess where maybe the 7 deadly sins are at the moment. Maybe Bon is leading the charge if he is fine. He's probably leading the charge to try to find a way to bring back, Meliodas. And he's probably going to have a decision to where he has to choose between Elaine or Meliodas, which that would be really good character development for him. I want to see that so bad, just to see what decision Bon makes. But the main thing is, though, I believe the 7 deadly sins are probably searching for a way to bring back Meliodas. Elaine is probably just taking care of the body of Meliodas for it doesn't get damaged and hurt, and she's pretty much just traveling and, carrying on the legacy of Meliodas. So that's pretty cool. But one thing, though, I gotta talk about is that one scene where Elizabeth, she kissed Meliodas, or, was hunching over the bed, like leaning over the bed and stuff, and that entire panel, I don't know if it's just me, but her back, the way it was bent, it was fucking weird. Like, her back was just weirdly shaped. Seriously, go to the panel, go look at it when she goes over the bed leaning over Meliodas. Her back, it does not look right. It looks like she has a fucking broke back. I'm like, what the fuck? So, it looks really creepy. It's probably a drawing error. Maybe Nakaba-sensei didn't intend it to look like that, but it's pretty damn funny. I noticed that, and I wanted to mention that when I was, looking at the chapter. It's like, what the hell? Their back doesn't look like it should bend like that. The body should not bend that way. Okay, so back into some other serious things, though. A character is kind of reintroduced into the story, and I'm going to try to pronounce his name again. It's right here. His name is Golgius. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. I'm probably not. But he is a character that was introduced a very long time ago. I recognized the name, so I went on, Google, typed it in. I'm like, oh, okay, so it is someone we know. Because, as we know from last week's chapter, there was also characters that we knew, but we just never really got to see their face or appearance, just their armor. And once again, we get to see that. We get to see a character from the original part of Taizai, the beginning part, called, the Weird Fangs. I don't know how many of you might remember, but they were even in the anime. You remember the Holy Knight that could actually go invisible, and he was trying to steal Elaine, like, kidnap her? It was in the earlier parts of Taizai. That is the character that we saw in this chapter. The person that went invisible in the previous entries of Taizai. So that's who this person was, Golgius. So yeah, it's interesting seeing, these characters unmasked, getting to see their actual face instead of just their armor. And I wonder exactly what, Nakaba-sensei is trying to do. I mean, he's showing us a lot of characters that have been in the past, they were part of the series, but just never got to see their appearance. I wonder what the main importance of this is. I wonder if, Golgius is going to actually have a role to play in the future of Taizai, or is he probably going to get killed off, maybe have his soul sucked out. But it's pretty cool. I really like that little engagement, that little conversation Elizabeth had with him and all that. It was a really interesting discussion. Now, one of the main things I know many of you are probably already talking about in the comments, and you want me to talk about already, and you wished I already had, Zarathustra is back. He is alive. Now, this wasn't out of nowhere. We know Zarathustra has been hinted to be alive for a while now. Many weeks, many months now. We know that there was potential for him to be alive, because when Dreyfus, or Fraudrin, when he got cursed, you had it to where he's like, I've seen so many people I've killed, but there's one face I haven't seen. Zarathustra. He hasn't seen Zarathustra's face, even though he's been cursed. He's been seeing all the faces of the people he's killed. He has not seen Zarathustra. So, it raised the question that something else is going on here with Zarathustra. Maybe his soul didn't really, disappear, and, he's still alive somewhere, and that's probably what's going on. He was alive. And with this chapter, it reveals he pops up and he is alive. Now, this once again goes along with, the Gil Frost and Gil Thunder type stuff that we saw in the last arc. Remember, I was talking about how those two might be brothers, or maybe Gil Frost is, Zarathustra in disguise. Something along the lines of that. But the main question we have to bring up right now is, what has Zarathustra been doing? Why? Like, why has he waited so long to pop up now, after so much shit has hit the fan? Just think about this. You have it to where the 7 deadly sins, they get framed for the death of Zarathustra, but Zarathustra is still alive, and he's been wandering around, apparently. We don't know his backstory of what happened. Maybe he has amnesia, maybe there was another golem mine, something going on. But Zarathustra, he straight up, if he knew about everything, why did he not come forward sooner? I mean, Hendrickson and, Dreyfus were causing a bunch of issues throughout the entire capital of Britannia, and if Zarathustra is alive, he would know the truth, and how, the 7 deadly sins didn't really kill him. So what was going on there? Maybe, if I had to, kind of guess, maybe Merlin and Meliodas had something to do with it before, Merlin teleported and stuff. It probably has something to do with that. But I believe, though, there's something else going on here, a bigger plan that Zoroastrius has been waiting for, because we do know Zoroastrius could have easily have destroyed Fraudrin, like he, you know, removed him from Dreyfus's body. It would have been easy for Zoroastrius to do something like that because of the ability we found out. So, yeah, a lot of questions I have. Why did he take so long to come up now? And, I mean, why did he wait until the Ten Commandments already took over before he, you know, came in? Because apparently he was one of the strongest Holy Knight. So, raises questions. So, yeah, that's about it when it comes to this chapter of Taizai, or these two chapters. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.